Hey everybody, welcome to Good Talk with Robin Eve and Donnie Vapor. And guys, today I've got a very special person with an amazing story, and his name is Mike Olsen. Mike, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Don.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Thanks for being on here, and I can't wait for the audience to just get up their arms, get their minds wrapped around your story because it's amazing, it's fascinating, it's gripping, it's compelling, it's all of the above, I would say. And you're somebody that's dealing with a disease that I'm dealing with, the pulmonary fibrosis, the idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, and you're living in Kentucky, correct?
Yes, Louisville, Kentucky, home of the Kentucky Derby.
Wow. So if you could just tell my audience, give us a little background of your story of when you got sick and what you started to feel and the progression of what you wound up doing.
Sure. In 2014, I was diagnosed with IPF, idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. And at first, when I got diagnosed, they said it was interstitial lung disease, and they weren't really sure, so they had to have an open lung biopsy done, and that's when they confirmed it was IPF. And so I like Don, was on oxygen, and I had dragging oxygen tanks around for about 5 years. So I got diagnosed and was put on oxygen, and I was told to get my affairs in order. They actually only gave me 2 years to live at first. Of course, I beat those odds,
Mm.
and I was put on a medication, hopefully slow down the progression of the pulmonary fibrosis. It's called OFEV, and I was on that medication for the 5 years that I was waiting on a double lung transplant list.
Wow. Okay. So that wasn't an easy journey getting on that list and waiting for lungs. I bet you can share and let the audience know what that was like a little bit.
Sure. So when you get diagnosed with this terminal lung disease, and there's not a there's not any options actually out there. There's no cure, and it's a stiffening and hardening of your lungs, so you have difficulty breathing. And so my doctor suggested the only thing they offer is to get on the transplant list, so you can get a set of new lungs, so you can hopefully breathe better. And so that was the path that I took. But being on the list isn't always easy, because there, in some states and in general, there's a shortage of organs, and so I had to wait. And the waiting part was the hardest part, as you're dying of a terminal lung disease, hoping against hope that you would be able to um, get the luxury to have a set of new lungs through a donor's kindness and love by signing their organ donation card. And
Mm.
and so that's what I did. I waited and waited. I did get a one call like a year and a half into my um, uh, lung disease, and they almost wheeled me into surgery, but they found donor's lungs were not good, and so they called that a dry run, and so it
Wow.
didn't happen the first year. So then had to wait 4 more years until I actually got the call. So
Talk about wheeled into surgery, getting ready to have a transplant, only to find out it was a false alarm. That's gotta
yeah,
feel.
so
I can't even imagine what that would feel like.
yeah, it's almost like you're you're a kid and you're promised a adventure of some sort, and then all of a sudden you get the rug pulled out from under you.
Oh my
And
God.
so anyway, I got the call. Yeah, I got a call. They put a port in my neck. They gave me all the anti-rejection meds, and shaved my chest and did all those kind of fun things. And actually, they came in like 10 minutes before and said, "No, hold on. We found a mass in the donor's lung, so they could not be used." So they
That
put me
is like
back
a
on the transplant list. I went home.
devastating.
When you're dying of this terminal lung disease, and Don knows this well. The waiting, even just day to day living with this disease, is psychological. It's emotional. It's so many things wrapped up in one. that you just kind of just try to live, like my mantra is, making every breath count.
I love
Just
that.
living life to the fullest every day, even if you have a terminal lung disease, whatever you're facing, living that life, knowing that it might be your last. It's like that old country song, live like you were dying, and
Oh,
I
my
was.
song. That's my song. I love that song. And would you agree? I feel that when you can't breathe and people don't understand, and I try to give them a glimpse into what it's like. Not that I want anyone to ever feel like what we went through, but if they ask questions, it's almost like how hard is it to stay sane and positive and unemotional when you feel like you're being waterboarded on a 24/7 basis?
Yeah, and see, the decision I made, and I know you made that too, Don, is you can get bitter or you can get better. Like you can decide at that moment when you were given that diagnosis, what will I do with my life from this point on? And so I decided I'm going to make a difference.
Mm.
I'm going to go out there and shake the trees and make some noise. And that's exactly what I did. And I started with my, local grassroots efforts. I started the Mike Olsen Project, which was just an awareness campaign. Grassroots, just me and myself and my mom and my wife. And we started with meeting with our mayor in the city of Louisville and our congressman. And then from there, we met with my senator, two senators in the state of Kentucky.
Hmm.
And then I wound up, thinking, well, what else can I do? And so my wife said, hey, the vice president's going to be over here in Versailles, Kentucky. Why don't you go meet with him? And I'm not political, so my wife is, but I'm not. And so
Right,
I decided, you know what? I don't care what side of the aisle they're on.
right.
They need to hear about IPF, and they need to know when they make decisions and laws and considering health care that they need to meet somebody face to face. And so that's what I did, and went all the way up to the White House and met with the vice president and the president in the Oval Office. And you know what is interesting about that is, like a week later after that meeting, the president came down with he signed into law that uh, people who were terminally ill could get the medications that they needed.
The
And
right to try,
I
correct? Am I
like to
right about
hope
that?
that I had something to do. Excuse me?
Was that like something to do with his right to try when he said everyone has a right to try?
Correct. And he made that decision the week after I left the Oval Office.
Oh, wow, wow,
So
wow, wow.
I find that interesting that, yeah, yeah.
You might have been
So
a
I find that
catalyst.
interesting that yeah, we can have a voice, and especially when you're dealing with whether it's terminal lung disease or whatever, you have a voice to speak and to make a difference in your community, in your country, anywhere you are. So that's what I did, and then I continued to do that. And I thought, well, met with politicians, why not meet with celebrities? So I went ahead and met with Toby Mac, who's a Grammy award-winning Christian artist. Rap, what do they call it? Sorry, I'm so old. He does a lot of genre type of
Yeah,
music. But anyway, and then I met with Dennis Quaid.
mm,
Dennis Quaid and the Sharks does.
sure.
So I was invited to come on stage with my oxygen tanks and sing "There's a Whole Lot of Shaking Going On,"
Oh, I
and it
love
was
it.
really kind of funny because that was my life. I'm dragging oxygen tanks around, singing on stage with Dennis Quaid, and that was pretty cool.
That is very cool. And then I think you met
And the name of, yeah,
Nichols.
Joe Nichols.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met with him, and then also met with Bernie Williams of the New York Yankees.
Wow.
He was in a Breathless campaign here in Louisville. I was able to meet with him as well.
I
And
believe Bernie
I
Williams' father
say
died of his
I
disease,
did
right?
all correct, and so I met with these people. And the funny thing is, I have what's called a wall of remembrance on my bedroom wall of pictures of me with political figures and celebrities, people that I met with. And sometimes I look up at that wall and I think, how in the heck did I do all that? I was dragging oxygen tanks around. And a lot of people thought, man, you're on Facebook, you look good. And I said, yeah, you don't know, when I met with these individuals, I was in bed for 3 days after that wore me out. So that's the nature of the disease. You get very exhausted.
It's like you can't judge a book by its cover. It goes two different ways. A lot of people mean well when they say, "Hey, you're looking fantastic," if I shave or something like that, but they don't know what it's like on the inside to not be able to breathe. You know what I mean? And
Right.
I don't hold any ill will towards anybody. They mean well when they say that you look good and they're trying to give you a compliment, but it resonates with me when you say that. Someone that experienced it, I so get what you mean. It's amazing how you could feel one way
Yeah.
but still
And
forge ahead and put your best face forward, if you would.
that's right. And, I really appreciate you, Don, what you do through music. Music touches the soul. And
Mm.
here you are with cannula up your nose. And there you are making people happy, making people just, excited about, the things that you sing about. And so that's where, life, the rubber meets the road, where we just like kind of keep going on and doing what we can while we still have our breath.
While we still have our breath. I want to. We don't have that much time because I'm going to play a video that they did on your life, which is amazing. But what I'd like to ask you about, because I know a little bit about it, you shared it with me, was that the day you got the lung transplant, you actually during surgery died on the table.
When you were wickedly clever and came up with a way for your niece to be able to better communicate through a mask, I decided after our good talk also this afternoon that what could I do and what did I have around the house where I could help contribute. So I thought, well, all Aaron and I drink are water bottles and they are not the right plastic, they're all crinkled. And about an hour later, I went to have my dinner, but with dinner I drink one of these every single night. And most people do the ice or knockoffs of them. And I thought, this is that really clear plastic, but how could I get at it? And I realized I finished the whole thing down and put it down on my tray and was like, hey, all I have to do is take a little knife and cut off the one end and the other end and straight up the middle, and that this beautiful piece of very clear plastic that I think would be awesome, probably make about 2 masks, would be something that I could contribute and that a lot of people might have that they hadn't thought of to use to get to you. So thanks for the good talk.
Hey everybody, this is Motorcycle Mike, the personal injury lawyer. I've been riding motorcycles my entire adult life. During the course of my 30-year career as a lawyer, I've also represented countless injured motorcyclists. If you are one of them, I can be of assistance to you. Go to my website, please, motorcyclemikeesq.com. I'll always be there for you. I'm on your side when you ride.
Joe DeJesu, our original artist of the week from Good Talk TV show Season 1, has a brand new release available that you want to download on all of your digital media platforms. Another Sacrifice is the highly anticipated follow-up single to Cry and Miss Maybe, released in 2019. Joe is also the host of Jam Acoustic Mondays on Govs Radio. Please follow Joe DeJesu Music on Facebook and Instagram and download Another Sacrifice today.
Sure. I went to the hospital, finally got the call and got wheeled in, and they started the surgery. And uh, after they got the second lung in, after they, it's a pretty invasive surgery. And after they cut me open quite extensively, they were connecting everything back together. And what happened was the doctor forgot, well, he didn't forget, but he took the clamp off of one of the arteries too early, and I bled out. And so I died. And then they had to transfuse me, a lot of blood to get me back to life. But during that time, I floated off the table. I could see the doctors working on me. And then I realized, I'm a jokester. So when I was going up, I said, well, at least I'm going up. And I got midway, and I saw these swirling lights all around me, and I heard angels singing, and I realized, wow, I'm dead. So when I got to heaven and there was bright lights all around me, what came out of my mouth right away was, I want to thank my donor. I was so grateful that I was going to get a set of lungs and get to live, more, buy more time. And I looked behind me, and I saw two figures. One I knew, and I just knew was the Lord, and the other one was the donor. And they were coming towards me, and I couldn't quite make their faces out. I think was for a purpose, but I felt a hand on my shoulder, and I heard these words, Mike, these are your new lungs. You receive them. And I said, yes. And I floated back into the OR, back into the table. And here I am today.
That is one of the most incredible, profound stories that I could actually, it's so poignant, so amazing that happened, that you got to thank your donor for giving you life and giving you a second lease.
Yeah.
And it's just an amazing thing. And you're an amazing person, and you so deserve to be here. You're doing so much for trying to get awareness and for trying to share this disease and then the plight that we go through with something that kills as many people as breast cancer and prostate cancer, yet the world at large doesn't know about it to the same degree. And every voice counts, every breath does count. And you're such a testament to that. And I can't thank you enough for being who you are. And I'd like to ask you a final question, if I could. Are you ready for this question?
I wanted to interject really quick.
Yeah.
The video you're about to watch,
Yes.
won an Emmy Award, and I'm gonna pan over to my piano there.
Okay.
You can see it or not.
Please do that. Please do.
On the piano is an Emmy Award.
No, move it over a little more. Turn it more.
So,
Turn it again, Mike. Turn it again. Turn it again. Oh, that's even better. Wow. Put that up there.
So
Show that. Look at that. This video that Mike was in, he won an Emmy. Best actor, and he wasn't acting.
So you know what's funny? In my youth, in New York, I was a musical theater actor in New York and New Jersey area. And so I kind of gave that up, went into the ministry. 30 years later, I'm walking the red carpet to receive this Emmy Award. So you know what? Our lives can do all sorts of things.
Wow, that's just absolutely mind-blowing. That's amazing. And I'm going to ask you this question that really is going to tie it all together. And we don't pre-plan any questions, so I'm going to hit you with it out of left field. See what you say. I want to know if you were able to, if aliens came down and they asked you this one question about life and about Earth and about what it's like to be here. What's one of the most valuable lessons that you think you've learned in your lifetime that you would share with somebody that you learned a lesson?
Well, here's what I learned when I went to heaven. This realization that nothing that we worry about here on the earth is worth our time. I mean, like, we worry about finances, we worry about our physical health, we worry about so many things. And you know what? In the light of eternity, those things don't really matter. I mean, sure we do worry about it. I'm sure we are concerned about our food and things that we need on a daily basis. But what I've learned through dying of this disease and coming out on the other side with transplant was this: that love those who you're with, and be kind to one another. love one another. Just enjoy life that you're given. You know, my situation turned out like it did, thank God. But you know what? Life is so uncertain with COVID, the things that we're going through, and you know what? We just need to just be appreciative and grateful.
Wow, Mike, that's beautiful. Thank you for that, buddy. And I want to thank you again for coming on the show. Our audience is gonna love when they see this, and I love you, buddy. Thank you so much for having a good talk with us
Love you
today.
too. Hey, we got to get together.
Yes, we will
We
get
got to get
together. You're in
together and sing.
Kentucky. I'm in New York. We're gonna make something happen. We're gonna play. We're gonna write some tunes together, and we're gonna share it with the world. And it's gonna be big because everything Mike does is big.
All right.
Thank you so much, buddy. You have a great
All right,
day. I'm
great
gonna
talking
do
to
the
you.
video. Take care, buddy.
This is the big one. We need to quit naming children after spices. Right? I met a sage the other day.
We call laughter the best medicine.
One of the women at the table says, "Well, look at you. You look so pretty today, I almost didn't recognize you."
These days, Mike Olsen needs a double dose
There's days where I cry by myself here in this home.
because he's tried everything else.
Because who wants to die? Who wants to have your life end? I'm only 54 years old.
Olsen suffers from idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, IPF. The unstoppable disease forces scar tissue to eat away and slowly corrode both of his lungs.
The patient is no longer to absorb oxygen into the bloodstream and ultimately results in respiratory failure and unfortunately death.
Put simply, Mike's body attacks itself with no known cause and no known cure. He was given 2 years to live. 2 years ago, this month.
It feels like there's a band around my chest and someone's squeezing it and they won't let go.
He's one of the 150,000 IPF patients in the United States.
120 or 78?
And the one who set out to make a difference.
I say, I came into this world kicking and screaming as a baby. I'm leaving this world kicking and screaming.
Pledging not to go down to a sickness that kills almost as many people as breast cancer each year, with far less attention and little research.
It's your breath in my lungs, so I pour out my praise.
So I thought, well, maybe I'll just put my life out there.
In my lungs,
Olsen, a pastor by trade,
praise to you only, Lord.
decided to dedicate whatever time he has left to share one last message.
There's a disease out there called idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, and it's killing people, and we need help.
I'm dying, will you help? We followed Olsen on that journey for a year.
Yes, exactly.
Danny Chastain couldn't say no. The young filmmaker produced a documentary on Olsen.
My first reaction was, how am I going to tell this story?
Olsen's candid, infectious, and persistent personality drives the story. You almost laugh to keep from crying, realizing the film completes a dying wish. The piece opens doors for Olsen, a meeting with Louisville's mayor, who dedicated a day in his honor, face to face with the governor, who named him a Kentucky Colonel, the state's highest award. September deemed IPF Awareness Month in the Commonwealth. He lobbies a U.S. senator and a congressman to fund research for the disease.
And so I come out here and I say, glory be to the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, never shall be, world without end, amen.
But as the days get longer, his body gets weaker. And on the last Friday in June, an unexpected call.
His voice was shaking too. He was like, Hattie, I got the call. I'm like, are you ready for this?
Olsen's up for a double lung transplant. Not a cure, but doctors say it gives IPF patients more time, sometimes as much as 10 years.
I'm a weenie when it comes to needles.
Even in a hospital gown, poked and prodded, the pastor is in typical form.
It was like surreal. It's just, here we are.
The surreal turns to sorrow. After hours of testing, being told surgery's a go, Doctors found a mass on the donor's lungs.
Breathe, Mike.
Olsen sent home. No transplant.
Okay.
Okay. Today.
I honestly didn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, it must be something else. It can't be as bad as you're saying. And it is as bad as he's saying.
The failed transplant brought Olsen's sister and family from New York. It's been 4 years since they've seen each other.
It's very noble. I mean, he's not just sitting around saying, hey, I got IPF. He's actually going to town on it.
Olsen, now 55, told by his wife Patty they're going to a yard sale.
Surprise! Did you tell him?
And on a Saturday morning,
He just realized who I was.
heading into fall.
Come on out, Mikey Mike.
Their words say hello. Their hearts hope.
Hold on.
It's not goodbye.
Surprise!
I thought this was a benefit for a transplant, but I see it's a benefit to buy you some decent clothes.
They say life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but the moments that take our breath away.
I hope I loved well. I hope I loved my neighbors well. I hope I loved my family well.
16 breaths a minute, 23,000 a day.
The faith that's in him, I've seen it carry him through.
No one knows which one will be their last.
I just hope people saw the love of God in me, flowing through me in my life and how I treated others. So.
For Mike Olsen,
I will remember his smile, for sure.
You just had a burger and a plate of nachos, Mike. Here's the deal.
laughter is the best medicine.
You get it, and then they say, well, we can't find it because of your gut.
The sweetest breaths of life.
Thank you, Pulmonary Wellness Foundation, Good Talk TV sponsor. Please visit pulmonarywellness.com to learn more about this incredible organization.
Writing a book is the adventure of a lifetime. Red Penguin Books take pride in giving our authors a publishing experience that is stress-free and celebratory all the way. Some of our authors first approach us with no more than an idea for a book that's ready to sprout. Others submit completed manuscripts. Whether you're at either end or anywhere in between, our goal is to get you published. At Red Penguin Books, we offer options and opportunities that are unique in the world of publishing, and all of them are designed to keep you, the author we so deeply respect, in the driver's seat, unlike other publishing houses. So, if you want to write a book and are looking for a publisher, we've got you covered. Red Penguin Books deal in publishing services, book development, and ghostwriting for digital, print, and audiobook. Call us at 516-448-4993 or visit our website www.redpenguinbooks.com.
In 1975, a legendary rock band was formed. The music that has come out of this band, and especially the lead singer for more than 4 decades, is nothing short of mind-blowing. And it is our honor to sit here today and have a good talk with that very singer. Welcome to Good Talk TV, Randy Jackson.
Welcome, Randy.
Hey, how you guys doing? Good to be here.
We're doing great. It's so great to have you a part of the show. With a lot of our guests, we are excited to introduce them to our reviewers. It's hard for us to imagine any of our viewers who do not know you and do not know the reputation that you had, but we're going to try and turn them on to some stuff that they might not already know.
Okay.
This is so cool for me, real quick, and I interject. It's like being a kid in the candy store, because I grew up, High School Music was your music, and I graduated class of 84. I believe your first album was 83, if I have that right.
Yeah, so yeah, you were in the thick of it.
And I'm a guitar player, singer-songwriter, and I was just like, whoa, who did I just listen to? Holy cow. and it kind of really altered a lot of the way I write songs and the way I appreciate music to this day. And I want to thank you for that.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Glad you're still enjoying it.
Absolutely, we do.
Hey, your career has really just blown all over the place, all over the world. You've toured with the most amazing people, and you are now in 2 halls of fame for Louisiana and also Long Island, which is not a very common tale these days. It's enough for one person to get into 1, let alone 2. I'm curious, was there a particular moment where you realized, okay, I've really hit that next level, and I can't believe that I am playing with these people?
I think I could tell you a moment that for me, and you're gonna laugh when I tell you. I think I was playing with the Jefferson Airplane, and they were all cool, and it was great playing with them, and I was a kid growing up watching them, but we were playing in San Francisco, and that's their hometown, and they had a lot of their friends come to the show, and so backstage I see June Lockhart is backstage.
Oh, wow.
You know who June Lockhart is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Lost in Space,
Yes.
Lassie, and all that
One of
stuff.
my favorite
And
shows.
I said, yeah, well, when June Lockhart is at a gig, it was pretty surreal. Yeah, it was the last person I would have ever expected. And they just had like a real cast of characters at this gig. Wavy Gravy.
Wow.
Bill Graham. I mean, it was a real, who's who of rock and roll and TV. And it was a pretty surreal moment right then for me. I was just surrounded by my whole childhood right there,
That's amazing. Randy, not the robot, and Will Robinson.
Yeah, he didn't show up.
He's got a band too, Bill Mumy, I believe.
Dr. Smith might have been there.
Wow.
That would have been cool.
That's amazing. I never would have thought I would have heard that. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
This is one of the things that we love about doing this show is a lot of the times the answers are not what we were expecting, and those are our favorites.
Yeah, well, that one comes to mind for me, when you ask a question like that. Because I mean, all the people we played with, they were all pretty down to earth and great people, and I never got like starstruck by any of them, to the point of like not being able to talk, if that's what you mean, But I was kind of lost for words at this backstage at this, it's kind of like surreal,
Taking it all in.
Yeah.
Now, you have written so many songs, and you've got a bunch of albums that are out. I'm wondering, is there a song that stands out to you as being like the most personal, maybe like your personal little baby that you put out there? Is there one that really sticks with you?
I mean, my 2 favorite ones are Why from the 4th Zebra record and Who's Behind the Door.
That's one of my
They
favorites.
mean the most to me.
Wow.
I think lyrically. And they have similar themes, they're not exactly the same, but along the same lines, Those 2, I'd pick those 2 if I had to.
Okay. Is there anyone that you have not performed with that you would like to? What does your wish list look like? Or do you even have one at this point?
Yeah, I'd love to play with, Jimmy Page or Robert Plant or Paul McCartney. That would be my wish list right there.
Wow. So let's tell the people of our audience, and they're from all around the world, just some of your influences and who you grew up listening to that you can say that you kind of had an impression on your music and your writing style.
I think everybody that I learned from has something to do with my style. I listened to a lot of Allman Brothers, of course, Beatles. A lot of Led Zeppelin. Moody Blues was a big influence on me, I think, lyrically. Yes. Hendrix, I was a Hendrix fan, although Zebra never really did a lot of Hendrix. I started doing some with my acoustic thing I'm doing now. I'm a big Hendrix fan, and I learned a lot of stuff from Hendrix. And believe it or not, Grand Funk. I was a big Grand Funk fan back in the day.
There. Wow.
Me too.
I learned a lot of guitar from Mark Varner. Yep.
Are you still you're writing songs today? Are you in the studio?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Still writing, and we want to put another record out and hopefully have it out soon. Let's just put it that way. We keep threatening to put it out, but things keep preventing us from actually getting it done. Seems like it was easier when we were younger, and had less responsibility,
Are you still with the original members? It was what, Felix and Guy, if I remember, right?
Yeah. Am I still doing what?
You guys are still working together, the original
Oh
members?
yeah, with same three guys for 45 years.
Wow. How
Yeah.
about that? Test of time.
That's
So
incredible.
everybody's in
We
Orleans
played a
with you
gig
now?
every year so far.
Yeah.
And this year we did do a gig. So this year will be even though it'll be a short list, we did do a gig in February before this whole thing came crashing down.
And you're somebody who has been playing over like all the time, everywhere for so many years. And then when COVID kicked in, you're one of those people that successfully switched gears. And now you're actually more accessible than you have been because you're doing live feeds every single day on social media. Tell us a little bit about that process.
Yeah, I was down in New Orleans and figured I needed to do something. I wasn't going to go right back to New York because New York was really, it was pretty bad in New York. And my wife and I decided, why don't you just stay there because we have a place down here in New Orleans. And so I stayed here, and then I started thinking. It took me about 48 hours, and a friend of mine told me about some software, and that he said, man, you should get on the internet and do a gig. People would love to see you play. And so I did it the first time, and it was kind of like a hodgepodge set of equipment that I had to do it with, but I got through the first couple of shows, and then I decided, why don't I just do this every day? Why not just do it? I'm not doing anything else. So that's what I did. And I picked a time that I thought wouldn't interfere too much with the other things that were going on in the day for people. And so it's worked out really well. It's 4:30 Eastern time every day, and I play for about 75 minutes a day, and people seem to enjoy it. So it's like a little community. I think a lot of times they come just to talk to each other as much as they come to see the music. So
you're bringing everybody together through the music, which is beautiful. And you're doing 2 shows on Fridays, 2 shows on Saturdays, and then Sunday is Beatles Day. Is that right?
All Beatles. Yep.
Very cool. I don't know any other musician, ourselves included, that is putting music out there for their fans as often as you are. And it's really a treat to see you doing that,
Thanks.
Playing so much and sharing so much with everybody. The music that you have created is just timeless. And we love that you're writing new stuff. We're looking forward to that as well. But you're really connecting with your fans. And we really appreciate that as 2 of them.
And you know what?
Well, thanks.
I want to say it doesn't surprise me that you're doing really well with the online music, because back in my mind, you, my friend, are the originator of the one-man band. Back in the day, you had that old sound back in the Nautical Mile, and it was like Randy Jackson's got the one-man show, and it was great. You had great equipment. You came out and put on a full wall of sound, and
Thanks.
it was very encompassing. It doesn't even surprise me that now we're just stepping it up to the online venue, which just makes sense to me. It's a matter of natural course for you.
Well, it's been really good, and the fact that the internet speeds are enough to where you can do a pretty good quality, show makes a big difference. If this had happened like 20 years ago, I'd be scratching my head a little bit. But with the internet the way it is, it really makes a big difference.
With the old internet speed, you'd be stuck playing Talk About My Generation for a while or something like that. It was terrible. What a bad joke. Way too early. Max Headroom jokes. That's bad. Huh?
No, that was good.
I don't know. Back to the coffee.
I'll take it.
Randy, I've got one more question for you.
Sure.
When people look back on your music years and years and years from now, what do you want your music to say about you?
About me? Just that I took the music seriously, and that hopefully that to keep their minds open to any possibility, I mean, I think that's what my music's all about. My lyrics are I'm not trying to preach any particular thing, but just have an open mind about anything,
let me just give you a little blast from the past. You probably won't remember this, but I remember it. You came in from, I guess, New Orleans or somewhere down south, and I think I gave you your license to drivers at DMV. And you came to my window, and that's when I first met you, and you were switching over your license to New York.
Really?
How weird is that for a random little
That's-
tidbit to throw out there?
That had to be a long time ago.
I remember you coming in there. I'll never forget. Yep.
You were DMV like what, 20 years ago or something, right?
The memories starting to come back. I think the license read Randolph Jackson.
Yeah. There you go.
Got it. I remember.
You are a savant.
And of course,
Wow,
it's
that's a
specialty
wild
coffee.
story.
It wakes up the nodes in the brain. Anyway,
Coffee will do that to you.
just wanted to throw that out there. Thank you so much, Randy.
Thanks for having me on. You know, it's great to be on with you guys, and I know you guys for a long time, and I think this is great that you guys are doing this show. Awesome.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. It's great to have you. We love sharing this time with you. And everybody, please go to thedoor.com, see what's going on in Randy's world, and make sure that you are following him on social media so you can be a part of those daily concerts. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for the good talk.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Take your fingers from my hair. They have gotten us nowhere. We can't last another second. We are too lost for open doors. Take your memories and your ways. Let me see a brighter day. Greener fields
hit the ground running with season 3 with no looking back. So settle in, get ready for a really good talk, and don't forget to email us if you would like to be part of our show as an advertiser, as a guest, or if you have some feedback for some suggestions on upcoming episodes, email us, goodtalktvshow@gmail.com. We have brand new episodes every Sunday night on Strong Island Television on Facebook, and please subscribe to Roku TV and Amazon Fire TV for exclusive extended content coming soon. Thank you so much for watching.